I was going through my notes, going through some call recordings within the last couple of weeks. Kenny, my director of operations at Astrofuse, he came to me. It was funnier than what we actually were able to record on this video, but um, he shared some frustrations in a very funny way that I just thought this was a prime opportunity for us to record how we work, and also just talk through some of the solutions that high level offers. And this is not just something that we try to push to people and say, hey, you should be using this solution or be doing these things. We actually try to practice what we preach. This was me working through some of the growing pains that we had. Kenny has been doing some cold outreach, just contacting local businesses, and he ran into a problem. He's wasn't sure how to keep track of things. He had no idea how to use the power dialer. It had been a while since I set up a power dialer in high level. So I had to go relearn. What I found out is the power dialer does not relate to an opportunity at all. It's related to a contact, and you're basically just adding it to a queue. And then once they're in the queue, then you have the ability to just call each customer one by one. There were a lot of things I said and assumed in the video that were right, but I was guessing at best. And later we did verify how to use the auto dialer, or the power dialer, I should say. And that is working for Kenny. From there, we have now introduced automations. So if somebody says, hey, can you email me info? Kenny will try to handle that objection. But if that's what somebody wants, we're going to send information. But we don't just send it one and done. We now have a nurture sequence that goes out and will automatically contact people, because the timing might be wrong. So we want to keep top of mind, and hopefully that nurture sequence will show that we're going above and beyond to give them information. So quick. This was just a quick introduction. The rest of this video is just the actual call of Kenny and I trying to work through this problem and figure out how to build a better process.
So what I came across yesterday when I was trying to, in the middle of making my sales calls, when I'm trying to turn and burn, if I can keep somebody on the phone long enough to actually get them interested, at the very least say, yeah, send me some information, or yeah, let's schedule a call for next week, which I had 2 or 3 happen yesterday. Great. But taking the time to stop that, to then take notes and fill out the high level opportunities card or information takes a while, especially with the way that I know we have some certain proclivities that we set things up in. So right now, if I go to add new opportunity, there's primary contact, primary email, phone, and then opportunity details, a little bit of pipeline information, and then business name, and then some tags. Great. But yesterday, and I'm going to take a step back here, yesterday I had another of many instances where I'm using high levels phone system to make outbound calls. Now, I'm manually typing in or copying and pasting the phone number into the phone widget or app. I make the call, get off the call. So now that call is now in the history. It's in the contacts as its own entity, but it's the phone number is the only thing filled out. If it's a missed call or they don't want anything first, I try calling again the next day, which was yesterday. The guy finally answered. I get him on the call. He shows some interest. Great. I get off the call. I go ahead and just send him a calendar invite. So I'm using his email. So now the email is inside of high level as its own entity as a contact. Now, I don't think it's like my contacts. I think it's like a pending or potential, but I jump right into new opportunity button. I fill in primary contact name, primary email, primary phone. I fill out the opportunity name. I organize it how I want it versus the default, which is it uses the primary contact name. No big deal. I select the pipeline, the stage, the status, select myself as the owner, manually type in the business name. I hit create, and a pop-up says duplicates aren't allowed here. And I'm sitting here going, what's a duplicate? there's no highlight. There's no, go find the red button or the red letters that indicate where the duplicate is. It's just the little error box that says no duplicates allowed. So I literally can't do anything with with everything that I just typed out. So I have to close it, go over to contacts section, open up contacts, do a search for the phone number, do a search. So I do the search of the phone number, find the phone number. There's 2 entries in there for the same phone number because I called at different times. Try to combine those, I tried to edit one of them, populate all the information again because it's a contact already, just most of it's empty except for the phone. Populate all that, go to hit save, and it says no duplicates allowed here. And I'm like, well, where's the duplicate at? Like, I don't understand what's duplicated. So I close that, lose all that time again, all that data information, go back to contacts, do a search, and then I realized, oh, I sent him a calendar invite, which uses his email. So maybe the email's in Go High Level. It was. So there's 3 entries in there. So I had to select all 3, do a search because they were on different pages, highlight all 3, find out where the merge button is, merge them all. Then I can start actually making an edit.
So
that took a while. To be
real
honest.
quick, where's your source of truth for the list? So you have
An Excel sheet
before,
or
so it's in
Google Doc.
Google Sheets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your master record or main record for each person you're calling it's a sheet that has all the prospects that you're planning to call.
Yep.
And then I assume you're just using the dialer inside of High Level to dial.
Yeah, that way it records everything, it tracks it. So yeah.
So when you're making calls, actually, I want to look at something real quick.
There's a lot of different stuff going on here because it's like, am I making, cold outbound sales calls, which I want to turn and burn as fast as I can. If I get somebody on the call, great, slow down, handle it. After the call, that's where the biggest hangup seems to be. So I don't know the best way to handle this or what the MVP is. You got something?
Yeah. So one suggestion I have, we'll have to test this to be sure, but there's a record in conversations of all the calls that you make.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure you can open that contact in a new tab and then edit the record as you're intaking information. So you're going to confirm the name. Okay. You'll associate it to a company name.
So use the conversations list as my page because I can open up the phone app in the phone widget in any page.
Yep.
Okay. So that might be a better process.
That will let you narrow in on the contact record that already exists. So you're not creating a second and then having the issue of a duplicate. You should have a good idea of what number you just called.
Yeah.
We'll have to test
I can set appointments in that same screen that I realize now too.
Yep.
So that might just be a better process for me to do.
And then I think you can create opportunities from here too.
Yeah. So you can over on the far right.
Yep.
There's an opportunity button.
So you can create an opportunity. Right now, I know we have multiple opportunity pipelines. So one other solution I would have is let's create one that covers this flow because the other business activities we have,
they're more automations and triggers.
Yeah, they're tied to more like lead generation and pay per call. They're not really tied to this new product of.
And there was a lot of things in there that I used when I did create the few opportunities. But the majority of it didn't really apply to this. But I'd gone through there. So with that in mind, it does make sense to to use the conversations screen when I'm making calls. Because yesterday I was using the dashboard, which I had customized for call metrics, which in my mind made sense. I'm in calls, but there's nothing really on that board. It's just a report. There's no interactive anything. This does make a lot more sense. So I'll try using this and we'll touch base in the future to see how much smoother this is. So once the opportunity is made or when creating the opportunity, that's a better way to say it. I'm going to open up this opportunity now. If you're looking, it's the latest one. It starts with AIR hyphen. That's just my acronym. So in here with this pipeline, and this might even be something that is irrelevant because we've customized the pipeline itself, but there's opportunity details, which down at the bottom has a business name. I don't know if that's High Level's business name. I don't know if that's their field or our field, but then there's client discovery. No, that doesn't have
the stuff on the left under opportunity details.
Yep.
That's all stuff that we have created, or most of it is stuff we've created.
Understood. Okay. So I would, if we can, and I know we did a lot of this for a lot of good reasons, and some of it was workarounds for other things that were external to High Level. But if we can, I would like to use this time, try to find a way to, like the company details tab, there's legal filing name, but then, so basically conglomerate a lot of the fields. That way, when we do get to the point where, okay, I have when we're syncing stuff or having automation, it's pulling from the same field. So I think some of the limitations previously were like we couldn't use the field of company name, go high levels company name inside of opportunity details tab. But I think some of that's changed since we built out our structure.
No, I think what was happening was that we were getting, so one of the reasons why we separated it is like we would get a lead buyer that operates and interacts with everybody with like their, let's say it's like a roofing lead gen company that we're selling leads to.
Oh,
right?
legal name
They
versus
would,
everyday name.
right. So they would come to us with one name, and then you later discover like, well, the paperwork is actually some other entity, which would sometimes be like an umbrella corporation that owns all these other sub brands. And then we had a need, like we would still call them by the property name or whatever they were using.
Yeah.
But when we were doing business and doing contracting, we had a completely separate entity, and this was a way for us to like separate them and still keep the associations that we refer to them by, and then have like the information that you would need for like when you're like crossing your T's and dotting your I's. And then we also had like several, like our contracting had several spots that were like, some of it didn't really tie to anything that was already in high level. So then we had to create additional stuff. And then there is like some weird things too, like how information is attached to an opportunity versus a contact. So opportunity is like a deal. So like sometimes there's information that's tied to the deal. It's not really, it's tied to the project. I would think of it like a project. It's not really tied to the contact, but the like there is a relationship, but the where you record it is different, right? You'd want to see like all the projects that somebody was associated with, which would be your opportunities. But like details about a roofing campaign, it's not really tied to the contact. It's tied to the opportunity or deal that is like, it's a project that we're working on.
Right. So some of that's just not even going to be a need for this use case then. Okay.
With some of the stuff shifting around, and we've also changed process, like I would be okay with like removing some of this stuff or like adjusting it.
Right.
But
so it
right
doesn't
now
show up
you
when
just
you're
have,
in this, whatever.
some of it you just have to ignore. The other thing is like we added a lot of stuff and then had no way to change the order, which that is now a feature. You can change the order of things. So we can prioritize like which of these things are you going to live in. Like we probably have some things that we need for the voice receptionist where there's information tied to that opportunity, like the actual voice, for example.
Yeah.
Like client or customer prefers this like friendly voice and they prefer to be a man or a woman, right? Like we can capture things like that. Or they might have like a wish list for the automations that are tied to the receptionist that we could catalog in that like it's like a folder almost in the opportunity, and then you'd be able to intake all that information or keep notes.
Yep, that makes sense.
But like things like you have to segment information that you're gathering. Like, is this information that I just want to remember about the person, or just to build a better client relationship?
Oh,
like,
sure.
Sometimes we might document like this person really likes coffee. That would be like a person thing, right? But then like there are special notes during implementation that you would tie it to the opportunity so that when we do implementation, we have it.
Okay.
In my mind, they're separate. They're not the same. We'll show there's a relationship between the two, but like we're not documenting it in the same place.
Yeah. Okay. That does make sense. Okay.
So
with what we have and the Google Sheet that I have, what's the quickest way to get data out of the Google Sheet into high level as an opportunity? Or just as a contact information, and then I create the opportunity.
Yeah.
Because there's multiple ways to
Yeah.
do that, or even a business.
Great question. So what we should do is take your sheet, make sure it's the next round of calls that you want to make, and maybe we'll pick, I don't know, 50 to start or 25 to start, just to do a test run.
Mhm.
We'll import them. We'll make sure they're tagged in a way that like we know what the lead source or prospect source is for.
Sure.
We know these are companies you're going to call
Yeah.
for the voice receptionist, right?
Yeah. Because
That way we can.
I'm just the AI receptionist, or yeah. Sorry, I was thinking something. Go ahead.
Yeah, that allows us to preload the contacts inside of high level. At the same time, we can have it create an opportunity, and that way you have a queue that you're working through, and then you're dragging things back and forth. Like the pipeline stages could be the dispositions, or we could add tags for dispositions for each contact or opportunity
okay.
to make it easier to know like where you left off. Because later, like it may be like it's just not a good time right now. Like, please call me back in 3 months, right? Well, then you can schedule that, and you can put a note in there. You can leave like a written note, or you can tag it.
Exactly.
So then we can go back and look at everything that is like, okay, we have follow-ups to process, but our approach to follow-ups might be a different process later once you've done enough of this. But for right now, it's just a lot of trying to leverage your tools to remind you of the things that you need to do. Like yesterday, that email with the lead buyer, they said, well, let's talk in May. I acknowledged it. I said, that sounds great. I replied with a little bit more, just saying, I know you're going with 2 other lead generators, but often our clients, our lead buyers, will try multiple sources and monitor based on the performance of their resources, right? But then I let them know, like, we'll reach back out in May. But I'm not going to try and remember to write the message. I wrote the message last night and scheduled it for end of April.
Right.
So then I know it's just going to go out. You can do the same thing in high level, right? Like I did that in Gmail.
If I'm in the conversations page when I'm making my calls, it makes that so much easier. So that does make a lot more sense. I do like the idea, because up till you just mentioned it, in my mind it was like, okay, well, I'm working out of a spreadsheet for the initial cold outbound, and like and I get it, and that makes it can make sense. It's a little restrictive, but that's okay. But as soon as they answer, or I get to talk to somebody, and there's any kind of interest, it needs to go on high level. That's the way I see it. But you're saying maybe go ahead and put it in there initially, especially with Go High Levels. I can't remember the term. You sent me the video for it. The dialer function. Yeah, the auto dialer.
An auto dialer.
I freaking love the idea of that. Now, I don't know, like, if that's an auto dialer, to me, that's separate. Like, we would use that in a way that's, okay, this is the cold outbound. Like, it wouldn't even be an opportunity, like card, or even a contact card necessarily. I guess it could, but it wouldn't be an opportunity until I actually got to talk to somebody. Now that's more of a decision for us, but I didn't. Yeah.
I have to confirm this, but I'm pretty sure what you need to do for that system to work. I recall it relying on 2 things. First being that you have a specific label.
Okay.
And then the second thing is it does work as an opportunity, because the opportunity, I believe it's tied to the automations. So you create automations. There's an automation
that way then. Okay.
Yeah. So what happens is, like, those contacts get added to like a queue, but that queue is managed through opportunities. And it's going to present itself when you go into an auto dialer mode. It's going to present the person you're about to call in the top. And then you just click a button that says dial. Mode. When you click dial, I think it opens the opportunity. It could be the contact, but it opens one of those. It's been a while since I've actually done like tested this.
But what you're saying is, like, it's like the interface changes for a cold dialing mode kind of thing, not just I'm going to pop up a widget with the phone dialer.
Yep.
Okay, good. That's what I've been like trying to figure out. Like, there has to be something that's more friendly for a cold dialing salesperson, because like people have teams of that's all they do is the cold call, and as soon as there's interest, they pass it on.
Yeah. So I just need, let's do it. I think I said a higher number earlier, but let's do it with like a test of 5 to 10. Like just give me 5 to 10 prospects you plan to call.
Okay.
And we can do the test today, or we can do it Monday. But I'll prime the system with the contacts you give me, so that we'll test the mode. Like, does it open the contact versus an opportunity?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it purely labels, or is it labels and opportunities? I remember labels being involved, and I remember opportunities being involved.
Sure.
But it could be you don't, like, it'll work from the contacts and you create an opportunity when it's real. Like somebody answered and you have a
when they
real
hit that
conversation.
milestone of, even if it's a no, like there was some like contact was made. It's no longer just a phone number in a phone book, because that's the way like I'm looking at the spreadsheet. Like as soon as it's more than just, as soon as something, even if it's an AI on their system that they already have, or a virtual receptionist, as soon as there's a pickup, there needs to be a note.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things I really liked about High Level, is it has that when you hang up with them, the interface changes to be more contextual of, okay, the call's over. Like during the call, there's a transfer warm, transfer cold, and a couple other things, but each different mode you're in, it switches. And I was like, that's freaking perfect.
Yeah.
It gets rid of stuff. It's cleaner. It's quick. And afterwards, what's the description? Was it a voicemail? Was it dead? Did they say do not call? Which I'm assuming if you hit the do not call or whatever, I can't remember the exact terminology, it would probably go through they probably have automation in the background that would then put their phone number on the do not call list, at least internally. I don't know external.
And this is why I want to get you out of Sheets, like prototyping, like testing a new service. The Google Sheet was just faster. There was no
100%. Yeah, at least this way it's quick and dirty, because I can get started and I see what some of the pain points are for us, so then I know what the wants are, versus just jumping into a system and thinking that's the only way you can do it.
Yeah.
So
the other thing too, Kenny, is once we queue up the prospects in the High Level, it's not just going to auto dial. You have to click dial on each one.
Right. It's human initiated.
Yep. And then I think during the call and at the end of the call, you can provide a disposition status.
Exactly. Yep.
And we'll talk through like what dispositions make most sense for you.
Right.
The most important is the follow-up. Like people are going to tell you, like, right now is not a good time. Can you call me back? Which is
but having some automation or notes or labels or whatever, having something for that, that then we can, whether we trigger the calendar or the task to pop up or the appointment, I imagine would be more of a task, because a calendar appointment would be like, call me back, or let's schedule something for next week. That would be more of an appointment. But task for, call me back in July, try again, which is what we had yesterday. So that sounds great. And I have on our sheets, how many are in here? There's like 70. So I've got this filtered right now based on, and I went through the other day and cleaned up and conglomerated some of the business categories. There's categories and category name. So I use categories to just dump a lot of them in the same ones, just to kind of shorten up the 80 different types, I think, something like that. So I've at least touched every single roofing contractor and contractor. And that's the 70 total. So not all of them answered, a lot of them were voicemail or whatever, but I have those. So anything that's basically, I have a short list already that I can send over to you so that we can load up. So, and I don't know if we can utilize like the screenshot I sent you on Slack, that shows my current method of, I've already contacted them once and I have a date column. So I didn't want to necessarily create a whole nother date column, and then I've got a system rolling. So I just hit Alt Enter and put my second call date. And that's just how I quickly organized it.
Yeah. So when in a perfect world, all of your notes that you have here would get cataloged in, or it would get recorded inside of High Level. But what we may have to decide between is, like, there's some notes in here we are either going to have to part ways with, like get rid of, like we'll just abandon some of the notes that you have. Some of them will be labels instead of like notes. Like the labels will allow us for reporting to find the context. Like these are callbacks, or
Yep.
these are
Right.
did not
Filters in other
answer.
systems or other reports
Yep.
or other automation. 100%. Yep.
Yep. And
That's
because
exactly what I was
think of
thinking.
these like campaigns, right? Like on Monday, you're probably you. And I'm making this up as I go. So Monday might be like I'm going to prospect and find new people that are willing to talk to me.
Right.
Tuesday, I'm going to do the same. Wednesday, I'm going to go back over everything that happened and try and reactivate or try to reconnect with people that didn't answer. And I'm going to put, but
Yep.
you'll use labels to segment them fast.
Right. So I
instead
can
of high
filter
level.
when I sit down. So I sit down, like show me all the voicemails, or show me all the calls that I've already made that went to voicemails instead. And that's exactly why I was doing it this way. Because then I could just see, like in my result, I just show VM. Like that's it. It's quick and dirty. And then I have notes to show individual notes. So I could filter based on exactly what you're saying. So yeah.
And there,
I
there
like
should
that a
be
lot.
a column that we can add where it's all of the labels we want to apply. I think it's comma delimited. So if we have multiple labels for a contact, they just all go in. And then we could probably map it to some kind of notes field as well. So if like you have hand type notes or like call, like times called, we might put that in just in the notes. That way, if we ever look at it again, we may not have like a call history like in the conversations, but the contact will have notes that we can see. Oh, we tried calling them 3 times, no success.
Okay. So by knowing how many times they've called, I guess that's not necessarily needed. Because if you're talking about having a label or some kind of ability to filter based on they have been called. If they have been called once, it's a different mode versus fresh first time. So, okay.
I don't think that matters as much. I think what the kind of stuff that will matter is like making sure nothing falls through the cracks. So if it goes in the system until somebody says, do not call me, I'm not interested, or until they're like a book deal. And even if they're like a client, we may call them with other services that we have later and say, hey, we're expanding our services. Do you want fill in the blank? That would be a much different conversation. But just having this all cataloged somewhere where you can easily label and like move things around between campaigns allows you to do all these different touch points that help book
That's
business.
a good point, because opportunities, now that I look at it that way, it would be like a we could call one the AIR or AI receptionist, and then the next one could be social media campaign, and then the next one could be this. So whether we have different labels and we utilize the same opportunity, I imagine high level is actually probably built out to have a new opportunity for each of those things. So it's a new opportunity with that company. Like one time, come back later, sell something else. So that's a new opportunity. Whereas we never really use it that way, which is okay. But I think this might be a little more in line with this use case scenario.
I want to be cautious with adding too many different pipelines of opportunities because it's more to manage.
Yep.
But if it's like the way we manage like a AI receptionist versus a lead buyer versus a call buyer, very different. Like the things that matter in booking business is very different because the process, like you have legal, there's TCPA compliance with calls or with leads. We don't go through that with the AI receptionist, and in like the AI agents, it's not complicated to do until you want two-way communication, meaning the company is now has the ability to dial out and has the ability to call from the number that we provisioned for the agent. And that work is very different than the work required for onboarding a lead buyer. So there's definitely a need for having different opportunities and things we track to know exactly where things are falling off. But we just need to figure out like what are the things that actually matter. And some things I don't think tracking it will make a huge difference, but there are some things that are critical in understanding like why did this not work out? Like what wasn't working and can we fix it?
I like it. Sounds good. Okay. So you need a short list from me?
Yeah, give me a short list. I don't know, 5 to 10 people that you plan to call or want to call.
I mean, I have them on here. Do you just create another column real quick and put a checkbox in it? And you can pull it from there?
Sure. Yeah, sure. That works. I have to wrap up with you, Kenny.
Sounds good.
And we'll touch base on this, but yeah, this is good. I mean, we're growing, so this is all good stuff.
I like it. Oh, I gotta get ready